So I'm a big fan of Neville Goddard and Andrew Huberman. It's not often that their content overlaps and confirms each other, but I always think it's amazing when these two spiritual or when spiritual practices connect with modern medicine and science. I was listening to Huberman Lab, and he was speaking to a doctor named Dr. Matt Walker about dreams and nightmares and therapies that help treat reoccurring bad dreams. Dr. Walker mentions a new therapy called Image Rehearsal Therapy, IRM. It's a process done by first identifying the specifics of the nightmare, the content, the feelings behind the or that are involved in the dream or the nightmare, and then rehearsing a new ending or a new story to sort of correct the trauma or the associations, the bad feelings you have with the nightmare. And that immediately reminded me of a very popular Neville Goddard idea called revision. He has a great book called The Pruning Shears of Revision. And it's about, how your life is basically a garden and the things you do yesterday have an effect on the things you do or the things you see and feel, the next day and throughout the rest of your life. So, so yeah, with revision, the idea or like the methodology behind it is you recall something that happened in your day or in the past with a person or whatever. You think about it in a way that more aligns with what you actually want. So if you had an encounter with someone and you wanted to change that, you would in your mind, in your imagination, with your feeling, feel something new, feel something different, and do that before bed in the same way you would do it with IRM or that image rehearsal therapy. So you can see that they're basically, like similar techniques to get to the same goal. You're having these experiences that happened in the past that are now affecting your present or your future, and you're deciding, I don't want that anymore. So you dive into your imagination and your feelings, and through that, you can change, what's happening and what you will experience. There's a lot of like new age terminology around this now I've seen lately called like reality shifting or reality surfing, quantum leaping. Basically, the idea that there's infinite yous, me's, time experiences, and we're using our imagination to shift our consciousness to the ideal state or the ideal place. It's really interesting, and like I said, I love the way that Goddard had it, and he relates it to to God and Christ and all these things that are very intuitive and hard to really pin down. But Huberman and his guest speaker Dr. Walker explain it in a scientific way through studies and through research, but it confirms the same thing. Your imagination is really the key, and if you want to change something, you change the way you think about it. You change the way you visit it in your mind, right? I've used Goddard's revision. I don't know the proper way to say that. Uh, Using trivial things in my life, right? I once had a roommate and we didn't get along very well. So one night before bed, I envisioned us having a really deep conversation and connecting in a deeper level. And the next day, you know, we had a different relationship. He made me food and we had a nice conversation. We became friends after that. In terms of the image rehearsal, it feels like it takes a little bit more time because I think they're studying people with a bit of deeper trauma, things that are more deeply rooted in the body. So the practice, the intention is, the repetition really is the most important part of that, right? So yeah, if you don't get it in the first time because you're dealing with something that's very deep rooted in your being, give it time, maintain the vision, maintain the feeling, keep the imagination focused on the feeling that you want. I also really like doing stuff like this because you already know what it feels like to feel what you feel, right? If you're feeling sad or you're feeling bad, or you're feeling regret, you know what that feels like intimately, right? You've dealt with it for however long you've been dealing with it. But with this, you get the experience or the chance to at least experience a different way of being. So see what it feels like to recall that bad memory in a different way, or recall that relationship you have in a different way and see how it feels and see if it like allows you to smile and it gives the other person the opportunity to also enjoy better things in life, right? So yeah, let me know if it works for you. You can write in a comment, or if you want more information, definitely pick up that book, The Pruning Shears of Revision by Neville Goddard, and check out the 6th episode of the Huberman Labs podcast about sleep with Dr. Matt Walker. It's a mind blower. He talks a lot more about different things revolving sleep and dreams. It's super interesting. But yeah, I just had that idea, that thought, listening to the podcast, and yeah, I thought I would share it. Good luck on the journey. It's a trip out here.